Hi, my name's Carrie Hill, and I decided to do my project on the success of Apple. I actually didn't know where to start with this project, so I actually just Googled a list of different companies that almost failed but were turned around by a successful leader. And I found Apple on the list, and I actually didn't know that they were close to not being a business anymore. So I thought this would be interesting to research. Now, I wanted to start out with some history about Apple. It was created by Steve Wozniak and Stephen Jobs, but they both go by Steve. And they were actually high school friends. They went to high school together, and they shared interests with technology. And they were actually both outcasts, so they pretty much kept to themselves and hung out with each other. And they actually both dropped out of high school. And then Wozniak decided to take his love for technology into a specific direction, and he started studying computer design. And that is when he designed the Apple I, which was a computer, and he showed Stephen Jobs his design, and he said, why don't we actually make this an actual computer? So they did, and 1976 was the creation of Apple. And what went wrong exactly? It was just 1 year later, after the Apple I was created, the Apple II was created, and then that is actually when Steve Jobs got fired. He got fired because the Apple II came out and there was negative comments about it. Not everyone liked it, so he didn't enjoy that he worked on this product for there to be negative comments. So he took it upon himself to fight to have the Apple II modified and fixed so people wouldn't complain about it. And everyone else was saying it's not going to work out like that because you can't please everyone. And it actually made him really depressed and upset that there was negative commentary about the Apple II. And it actually got to the point where he was fired because of the negativity that he was bringing to the company, fighting for to have the Apple II modified. So then it just left Wozniak in charge, which in return, he put the marketing department in charge of creating a new product. Now, the problem with that is the marketing department doesn't really have all the knowledge to know what exactly people are looking for. They might know how to advertise a product or think of a cool product, but there's a lot more than just what's cool that goes into the creation of a new product that people are going to actually buy. Two of the products they made are the Newton, which is on the left, and that is a supposed to be handheld, but it's huge. It was actually used as an instant messenger, but the software was really bad in it. You would send a instant message, and the other person wouldn't receive it for about 10 minutes, so it really wasn't instant messaging, and it wasn't really a popular product because it took forever. You might as well have called someone. It didn't work very well. And on the right is the Pippin, which was actually a gaming system. And inside the Pippin, they used the Motorola 603 PowerPC, which is, at the time that the Pippin came out, the Motorola 603 PowerPC was actually 3 years old already. So the technology that was inside of the Pippin wasn't even new. So people weren't really looking to buy that because it really wasn't new. It was old technology and it wasn't anything special. So no one was purchasing anything. So employees were actually laid off, and Wozniak, he was injured in a plane crash, which probably wasn't the best time for him to be injured in a plane crash when his business was failing, but that's what happened. So then Steve Jobs was actually hired back as the CEO in 1997, and his first goal was to review the product line because that's where he knew that the problem was coming from. And he discovered that there were 12 different Macintosh computers. Now, it was the same computer, but there were modifiers to fit every type of business. And he thought it was ridiculous, and it was a waste of money because not everyone needed 12 computers. It was just, they weren't selling enough of each one. So what he did was cut back the product line by 70%, and he limited it down to only 4 products. There's handheld and desktop for business and consumers, just average consumers. And there's the Power Macintosh G3, which is in the top left, and that was the desktop computer for businesses. And then to the right of that is the portable, the PowerBook 3G portable laptop, which was used for business purposes. And then for leisurely purposes, for the average consumer, there's the iMac, which was the desktop computer, and then to the right of that is the iBook, which was the original laptop for average consumers. And since there were less products, he had to lay off 3,000 people. And then in the first fiscal year of Steve Jobs being the new CEO, his company lost $1.04 billion. But then in the next fiscal year, he gained $309 million. So he came back. The problem was the products were new, and Apple was known for being a failing company. So it took a while for him to build Apple's reputation back up. And now today, Steve Jobs passed away, and Tim Cook is the current CEO. And the quarterly revenue, which is only 13 weeks, in 13 weeks, they make $4.5 billion just in 13 weeks. And there's new technology being released all the time for Apple still. Like at the top, I have the evolution of all the iPhones that are out. And at the bottom, I have the Apple Watch, and then there's the iPad and the iPad mini to the right of that. And it's really interesting to see how far it has come because of a leader. It takes a special kind of person with specific leadership skills and personality traits to be able to turn around a business like this. Just because you're a leader doesn't mean you can lead a company like this. You might be a good leader for a different company, maybe a restaurant or something. But Steve Jobs knew coming into the company exactly what the problem was, and he immediately fixed it. It took a year or two to build up, but now it's so successful, and their revenue is insane. And I just want to this is my presentation on Steve Jobs and how he was able to turn around a company that almost went bankrupt. Thank you.